Alright guys, Mr. Jared here again. Today we're going to be doing partial quotients again, but instead of 2 by 1 division, we're going to be doing 3 by 1 division, which all that means is that essentially our dividend is going to start out in the hundreds place as opposed to the tens place. But there is a strategy that we're going to be using that essentially will turn our 3 by 1 problem into two 2 by 1 division problems, okay? So let's just get right into it with an example. Let's go with, say, 453 divided by 4. Okay, so you're going to set this problem up just like the 2 by 1 division. So the first number is what goes inside the house, 453. Our second number, our divisor, is going to go outside the house. So dividend goes inside, divisor goes out. All right, just like with the 2 by 1. Okay, we're also going to have to go ahead and draw our workspace separator. Okay, now if you notice, our basic multiplication facts aren't really going to do us much good here at its current state because, well, in the basic facts, nothing times 4 gets us anywhere close to 453. But here's what I like to do. I like to go in here and I will cover up that 3. Okay? Now, just for the moment, pretend like it's not even there. Now our dividend is 45. Well, I know that, 4 times 10 is 40, and that'll get us pretty close. So, go over here, 4 times 10, but wait a minute. Now I've just uncovered my 3. Whenever you uncover it, you need to remember to add on a 0 to your multiplier, okay? That's all you have to do. Now we know that 4 times 100, well, if 4 times 10 was 40, then we tacked on a 0 here. That means, well, we tack on a 0 there. 4 times 100 is, 400. Now, everything else is going to be just like the 2 by 1 division. Okay, so we've got our 400. Now we need to subtract it from our dividend. So now we have 3 minus 0 is 3, 5 minus 0 is 5, and 4 minus 4 is 0. Okay, now our new dividend is 53. Well, now it's just like, it's exactly like a 2 by 1 division problem now. So 4 will go into 53. Well, let's just use 4 times 10. That's 40, we know, and that's pretty close. So now we subtract our 40. 3 minus 0 is 3. 5 minus 4 is 1. Okay, 13 is still larger than 4, so we know we can still go into it. So we're not finished just yet. But, 4 times something has got to be close to 13. Let's go with 4 times 3, which equals 12. That's about as close as you're going to get. Do not forget to subtract it. So now we've got the 12. 3 minus 2 is 1. 1 minus 1 is, of course, 0. Now, 1 is definitely smaller than 4. Therefore, 1 must be our remainder. Okay? Now, we have our remainder. Now we have to find our quotient. Well, if you recall last time with 2 by 1 division, all you had to do was add up this middle column, as long as you started with your divisor each time, which, as you can see, we did, which therefore all we have to do, you guessed it, is add up the middle column again. So 100 plus 10 plus 3 is equal to 113. All right, so 113 is our quotient and 1 is our remainder. And that's what your final answer should in fact look like. All right, now that's really all there is to it, but we are going to do one more example. All right. Okay then. So let's start off this time with something a little bit larger, because I know for a lot of kids the larger numbers really seem rather intimidating. So let's just go ahead and go with, say, something like 997 divided by 8. Okay, that looks pretty daunting. All right, but just go through the same steps. The process is still the same, no matter how big the number is. Okay, so we set it up. Our first number goes inside the house, 997. Our second number, our divisor, which is 8, goes outside the house. Okay, notice our dividend is inside the house, our divisor is outside the house. Okay, just like last time, we're going to set up our line. Okay, separating our problem from our workspace. Okay, scoot it over a little bit. Now, just like last time, I'm going to go in and I'm going to cover up that 7 and turn my problem into a 2-by-1 division problem. So now I've got 8 going into a dividend of 99. Well, I know that 8 times 10 is 80. But just like last time, I've uncovered that, so I'm going to have to add a 0. 8 times 10 I knew was 80, so adding on a 0 just makes me add on a 0 to my answer. So now I've got 800. Now, just like last time, 800 subtracted from 997. 7 minus 0 is 7, 9 minus 0 is 9, and 9 minus 8 is 1. So notice we're still dealing with a 3-digit number, a 3-digit dividend, but it is much smaller than the last time. So we're dealing with 197. Let's just go ahead and stick with 8 times 10, which of course equals 80. Okay, so subtract our 80. 7 minus 0 is 7, 9 minus 8 is 1, and 1 minus the nothing is 1 again. Now we're dealing with 117. So let's just keep going. 8 times 10 equals 80, as we know. Subtract our 80 again. 7 minus 0 is 7. 1 minus 8, we cannot do that. Borrow 11, which is 3. All right, we're going to have to move my paper up a little bit. Okay, now we're down to 37. That's still larger than 8, so we're not finished just yet. But I know that 8 times 4 is equal to 32. That's going to be about as close as it gets by the looks of things. So we subtract 32. And we end up with 5. Okay, 5 is definitely less than 8, so we know that 5 is now our remainder. Okay, so now that we have our remainder, all that's left is to find the quotient. Just like last time, add up the middle column. 100 plus 10 plus 10 plus 4. 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 4 is 4. 0 plus 1 is 2. And 1 plus nothing is 1. So our quotient is 124. So now we know that 997 divided by 8 is equal to 124 with a remainder of 5. Okay? And that's really all there is to it. Now please take a minute and notice that each time I was just subtracting by 80 just because I knew right off the bat quickly that 8 times 10 was 80. I could have said, well, 8 times 20 is 160. That would have made it shorter. In the same respect, you could have done 8 times 1 from the beginning and just made the problem really long, but you still would have arrived at the same answer eventually. Alright, you don't have to know all of your multiplication facts necessarily to be able to do these problems. And that's what this method allows you to do. Alright, but if I had have known that 8 times 20 is 160, that definitely would have made my problem much shorter. Okay, so with that, that's everything. Thank you guys. Hope you have a wonderful evening. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. The link is in the description, or my email is in the description. And thanks again. Bye-bye.